Yes. As members of that opinion say aye. Will those of the contrary opinion say nay? Then the ayes have it. Honorable members, you're calling the next order? Honorable members, as we go to the next order, it is expected that the chairman of the Finance Committee, member for Molo, will be tabling his report or his committee report this afternoon. I have not seen it yet. I have to approve it to be tabled, so when I recess, I'll have to perform that function. Once that is done, the report will be available at the table office. I encourage each and every honorable member to get the report either from the table office physically or on the parliamentary web. Read through it properly. Upon doing so, we have allocated time as follows. Tomorrow morning from 9:30, the finance bill will be moved by the committee chairman. It will be open to debate the whole of tomorrow morning. Tomorrow afternoon, you have just approved a sitting for Thursday morning. And remember that tomorrow you will sit up to 9:30 or 9 in the night. On Thursday morning, we'll again sit on the finance bill, and House Business Committee has directed that we will then vote on that bill on Thursday afternoon. Committee of the Whole on the same bill will come on Tuesday afternoon. Those of you who want to file any amendments, and I've seen some, I've in fact approved some, although it will be more decent and proper to file your amendments after reading the report to see whether you are proposing amendments that have already been dealt with by the committee. I have directed the clerk that the closure for submitting amendments will be on Thursday at 1 p.m. So those of you who want to file any amendments, upon reading the report and the bill, ensure that you file your amendments at or before Thursday, 1 p.m. Thereafter, you'll be time barred, and don't say you are not given proper direction. I hope that when the bill is debated from tomorrow, you will debate from an informed position on the content of the bill, the content of the report, and what you desire the bill to be. Thank you. Next order.
Order number 10, the appropriation bill, National Assembly Bill number 33 of 2024, first reading. A bill for an act of parliament to authorize the issuance of a sum of money out of the consolidated fund and its application towards the service of the year ending on 30th June 2025, and to appropriate that sum and a sum voted on account by the National Assembly for certain public services and purposes.
Next order.
Order number 11, the County Government's Additional Allocations Bill, Senate Bill number 19 of 2024, first reading. A bill for an act of parliament to provide for the additional allocations to county governments for the year 2024-2025, for the 2024-2025 financial year, the responsibilities of the national government and county governments pursuant to such allocation and for connected purposes. Order number 12, the County Allocation of Revenue Bill, Senate Bill number 25 of 2024, first reading. A bill for an act of parliament to provide for the equitable allocation of revenue raised nationally among the county governments for the 2024-2025 financial year, the responsibilities of national and county governments pursuant to such allocation and for connected purposes.
Next order.
Order number 13, the Care and Protection of Child Parents Bill, Senate Bill number 29 of 2023, second reading.
Beatrice Kemei, you are the co-sponsor of that Senate bill. It's now your time to move the bill. Give her the mic. A functioning mic, there you are.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to move that the Care and Protection of Child Parents Bill 2023, the Senate Bill number 29 of 2023 be now read a second time. Mr. Speaker, the principal objective of the bill is to provide a legal framework for the care and protection of child parents within the counties. The framework is intended to ensure that an expectant child or a child parent may actualize their right to basic education and at the same time ensure proper care of their children and as enshrined in Article 53 of the Constitution. Honorable Speaker, 61 years since Kenya gained its independence from colonial rule, child pregnancies remain a huge concern, as they not only affect the child's ability to continue with their education, but they also impact on the government's effort in reducing poverty levels in the country. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics in the Kenya Demographic and Health Survey conducted in 2022 noted that 15% of adolescent women between 15 and 19 years have ever been pregnant, with 12% having given birth, 1% experiencing pregnancy loss, and 3% being pregnant with their first child. Kenya National Bureau of Standards further noted that the number of teenage pregnancies is higher in rural areas, particularly in pastoralist communities, compared to urban areas. It further noted that teen pregnancies decline as the level of education rises, and further that it also declines as the level of household wealth increases. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Constitution of Kenya 2010 in Article 53(1), Part B, C, and D provides for the right of a child to free and compulsory basic education, the right to basic nutrition, shelter, and health care, and the right to protection and right to protection from abuse, neglect, harmful cultural practices, all forms of violence, inhuman treatment and punishment that is there, and even exploitative labor. Honorable Speaker, Section 13 of the Child Act, number 29 of 2022, reiterates the right of a child to basic education and mandates the Cabinet Secretary in charge of children matters, in consultation with the Cabinet Secretary in charge of education, to develop and implement policies for the realization by every child of the constitutional right to education. The Basic Education Act number 14 of 2013 provides that no child should be denied admission to a public school. The above, Honorable Speaker, the above notwithstanding, children who fall pregnant in school, especially those born in poor households, are likely to drop out of school so that they can fend for their babies. This not only impacts on their right to education, but also exposes them to early marriages and exploitative labor practices as they seek to fend for themselves and their children. Madam Speaker, some schools conduct mandatory pregnancy tests without the consent of the children or of the learners, and more often than not expel any student who is discovered to be pregnant. Such children are also exposed to ridicule and harassment and are often cited as examples of bad behavior, thus often leading them to drop out of school. It is also difficult for children who have been pregnant before to be readmitted to the school or to another school, as they are often shunned, with the school administration fearing that readmitting them will be viewed as tolerating ill behavior from students, which they are afraid of spreading to other students. Even where the child is readmitted to school, they sometimes have no one to leave the newborn baby with, thus leading them to either delay re-entry to school or making them not to concentrate on their studies, hence resulting to poor academic results. Madam Speaker, existing legislation only provides for the rights of children generally and does not take care of the circumstances unique to child parents. These laws do not provide for how children who fall pregnant are to be handled by the school administration during their pregnancy and also delivery. They also do not provide for ways of ensuring that once they have given birth, they are readmitted to school and have support and access to childcare facilities, particularly those without anyone to take care of their newborn babies while in school. There is also no law providing a framework for the establishment, management, and inspection of childcare facilities so as to ensure that they are safe for children. Madam Speaker, there is therefore need to create a framework to protect children in vulnerable households so as to ensure that they are able to complete their basic education and have a better chance at having better quality of life. This bill therefore seeks to provide a legal framework for the protection of the rights set out under Article 53, 1C and D of the Constitution in relation to child parents, and also through which the expectant child or a child parent can realize their right to education and at the same time ensure the care and protection of the other child, and also of standards for the establishment and regulation of care centers for child parents by county governments. Madam Speaker, clauses 4, 5, and 6 of the bill provide for the obligations of the national and county governments with respect to preventing pregnant children and child parents from dropping out of school, as well as social assistance to such children. Clause 7 of the bill provides for preparation of management plans by the school administration, which are aimed towards reduction of dropouts, as well as prescribing how pregnant children and child parents will be handled within the school. While Clause 8 of the bill provides for the rights of pregnant and parenting students, including the right to continue as they are medically capable of being in school, the right to be readmitted to school upon delivery and weaning of the baby, and the right to access adequate prenatal and antenatal health care and counseling services. Honorable Speaker, Clause 9 of the bill provides for the role of the county government in reducing dropout rates, as well as in ensuring that those who have dropped out are able to be readmitted to schools and that vulnerable children who are likely to drop out of school are catered for so that they can remain in school. While Clause 10, Honorable Speaker, of the bill provides for the school principal's role in managing teenage pregnancies in the school. Clause 11, Madam Speaker, provides for medical examination to confirm that a child is pregnant. The child cannot be compelled to undergo medical examination, and the principal may decline to inform the child's parents of the pregnancy in case they are a danger to the child. Honorable Speaker, Clause 12 and 13 provides for the pregnant child's right to receive pre- and postnatal health care and information, as well as the right to receive counseling and support services. Honorable Speaker, Clause 14 provides for confidentiality when handling the case of any child who is found to be pregnant within a school. While Clause 15 provides that where the person responsible for pregnancy is an adult, the school principal should disclose the same to the county director of education, the council, and the nearest police station. And if the person is a teacher, an additional report is to be made to the Teacher Service Commission. Honorable Speaker, Clause 16 provides for readmission of the child to school once she has given birth and weaned the baby. She is to be readmitted at the same level she was prior to giving birth. Honorable Speaker, 17 provides that the school should not discriminate against the pregnant child while she is in school on account of being pregnant or having given birth, while 18 requires parents of the pregnant child or of child to continue with their parental obligations and support the child. 19, Honorable Speaker, provides for the school's obligation to counsel the child, readmit the child once the child is born and weaned, and to continue supporting the child so that they can continue with their education. Madam Speaker, Clause 20 makes it an offense for the school administration to refuse to readmit a child once they have given birth. Upon confusion, the school principal and every member of the school administration may be fined up to 500,000 or jailed for 6 months or both. Madam Speaker, Clause 21 provides for establishment of child care centers in or within the vicinity of an institution of basic education. Clause 22 provides that child care services provided are for the benefit of the children less than 3 years old, whose parents are children who are being readmitted to school. Clause 23, Honorable Speaker, provides for the requirements of a child care center, which includes accessibility, affordability, ability to give adequate supervision to the children, and availability of qualified personnel together for the children. Honorable Speaker, Clause 22 to 33 provide for licensing of child care centers by counties. Counties are also required to enact legislation to guide the licensing process within the county. Honorable Speaker, Clause 35 provides for the services that are to be provided in the child care center, which include the care and supervision of children, counseling of child parents, outreach programs, and recreational and activities. Madam Speaker, Clause 37 provides for inspection and evaluation of safety in the care center and the obligation to keep the premises safe for children and to have contacts of emergency services providers such as hospitals, ambulances, and firefighting services. Madam Speaker, 42 provides for continued recognition of care centers which are already in existence and are already licensed. Madam Speaker, implementing the measures proposed in the bill will ensure protection of child parents and ensure that the country moves closer to 100% access to basic education and per children in Kenya. Madam Speaker, I now want to stop with these remarks, and I beg Madam Emase, Honorable, to second.
Honorable Emase. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity to second the bill on care and protection of child parents bill 2023. Madam Speaker, this is a very straightforward bill. It is very timely. It is coming at a time when we are dealing with so many issues around children, gender-based violence, pregnancies caused by even relatives, that is incest. At a time when the statistics are very clear, we are being told that 15% of women or children between the age of 15 and 19 become pregnant, where 12% are able to give birth, 3% even they lose their children in the process, and 1% happen to be pregnant for the first time. Honorable Speaker, therefore, this bill, as we have been told, seeks to provide a legal framework so that as a government, we are able to manage to deal with the issue of teenage pregnancies. We have a framework that provides on how this matter is to be dealt with by the county governments, by the national government, because children or an expectant child has got rights. But this is an area which we do not seem as legislators to have given the attention that it deserves. Honorable Speaker, this bill, therefore, seeks to ensure that there is a proper plan. If a child is expectant, how should that child be handled? How should the school administration address the matter such that this child is guaranteed the right to education? This child's baby is taken care of by government. So, Honorable Speaker, I want to really thank Honorable Beatrice and the Senate for coming up with this bill, because teenage pregnancy is a problem. And once these children are guaranteed of education even after conceiving, then we are assured that we are able in the future, going forward, to continue bringing down the numbers in terms of these teenage pregnancies. Honorable Speaker, in each of our constituencies, every day we encounter the number of schools that are reported, even to report as many as 20 or more pregnancies, even in our schools. So we need this legislation so that these children are taken care of. There is proper guidance. There is even psychosocial, counseling in schools to guide them so that they are not harassed or ridiculed in schools, so that these children are able to continue with the school, and by ensuring that they have the right to education and they are able to continue the education, then as a nation we're able to address so many other multiplier effects of those dropouts, and we're able to deal with issues of poverty. And Honorable Speaker, I think with those few remarks, I second the motion. Thank you.
Honorable members, allow me now to propose the question that the Care and Protection of Child Parents Bill, Senate Bill number 29 of 2023, be read a second time. Honorable TJ, you can see.
My contribution Madam Speaker, will be very short. Madam Speaker, if you examine this bill, how come it is not a money bill? In the memorandum, it has been set there, and it is said not to be a money bill.
Sorry, I can't hear you. Can you start again?
I am saying, if you look at this bill, how else can you explain that it is not a money bill? Money bill. If you check the memorandum, and if you check the statements that accompanying it, it is said not to be a money bill. But when you open it up, it creates centers. It talks about inspectors. These inspectors must be employed by somebody. These inspectors must be supervised or coordinated somewhere. These centers must be maintained by the public exchequer. And even when you open up those big premises of policy on protecting the child, definitely the child would have to be protected where there are functions which money follows. I am really sympathetic to the girl child. I really want to have a bill which fixes the issue of the girl child. But since this bicameral legislation process, we have had problems where good bills are lost because of the people who sponsor them or because of the thought process behind it. Were this bill originated from this house, from where my colleague sits, if she originated this bill, we wouldn't have been talking about this issue. We would have been talking about how to reinforce it and how to make it better on how to protect the girl child. But for some reason, members on the other house, they get into issues which they do not investigate very well. And this is a constitutional issue. We cannot do something about it. Article 114 happens to be a constitutional issue. Even when the emeritus lady and a very, she's a doyen of this legislation. But Honorable Emase will see the bill. In fact, she is the member of the Budget and Appropriation. Honorable Emase, please convince us that this is not a money bill. She is still consulting. But Honorable Emase, please don't mistake us. We are the fighters.
Emase, listen.
We are the fighters for the girl child. And we want girl child to be ring-fenced. Some of us are fathers of girls. But the problem we have in this legislation is that people begin to sponsor bills without looking at the Constitution. You see an inspector there. You see the care there. It is definitely going to use the taxpayers' money. So how can it be a bill outside Article 114? Just convince us and we pass this bill with a record time. But if you are unable, my colleague, please find a way of withdrawing this bill and reintroducing it here so that you do not go away. This thing is very important to a child. We cannot just use it on technicalities. There must be somehow of how we can pass this bill, Madam Speaker, so that the real issues of the child is protected. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Ruaraka, Honorable TJ Kajwang. I think you raise a very important point, and I think I agree with you that probably before I say anything about it, I think it's important that we allow the mover of the bill, the second of the bill, and I think also Honorable Member for Baringo, maybe we start with you. Let's hear what the members have to say, but it's a very important issue you have raised. Thank you for that. Proceed, Member for Baringo, Honorable Chematia.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. I also want to rise to support with a lot of amendments in this bill. I support because this is a very pertinent topic and a very important bill if it's considered and put in proper perspective. As much as I am supporting what Honorable Beatrice has given us today, Madam Speaker, if you look at this bill, it needs a lot of scrutiny. It needs a lot of, brushing and understanding on the implications that will cost. If this bill goes like this, Madam Speaker, it's going to cost in many other ways, social, economic, and even psychosocial or psychologically. Because if you look at the framework of this bill, it speaks to protect children, specifically who are pregnant. I want to ask whether the society is even ready to have children who are pregnant. Also, when you want to take care of these children, specifically in schools, it is going to consider specifically on economic factors because we have to budget more and give keen interest on these children because their interest is so different.
One moment, Honorable Member for Baringo. Let's do this. Honorable Member for Kericho, please listen carefully because I'll give you an opportunity at the reply. So you better take notes so that you can respond. And I think also a member of the Budget Committee, I think I'd like them to say something. Proceed, Honorable Chairman.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. I also want to agree with Honorable of TJ Kajwang that this bill is most likely going to be a real money bill because of the structures that is going to be put in this for actualization of the bill. There's no way you are going to be reintroducing, these expectant children or child parents, and when you take them back to school, the consideration is going to be so much. These children or this particular child is going to be having specific interest at specific times. Also, even in the society, if you look at whether we will want to really consider having children and entertaining pregnancies in school. If you look at it very keenly, we as Africans, and as much as we have problems of teenage pregnancy in our society, I don't think we want to take it up as a promotion that it is okay for a child to be pregnant as long as she still gets the opportunity to go to school. This way, we are going to erode most of the morals in the society, in my opinion, because as much as I would not mind, or I will still encourage the child to go back to school, but it is not going to be, honestly, a good idea to encourage these girls to be pregnant just because they are able to go back to school. And more so, there will be those children who are working so hard to be very disciplined and complete their schools without necessarily being pregnant, and we will most likely be disadvantaging and in another way infecting these other ones who are keen to finish school without being pregnant. And again, we will be allowing a lot of indiscipline. If you look at most of these children, because as a women rep, I pay most of school fees for them. Their performance in school is very wanting because of the distractions that they get into society. You cannot be a mother and a student at the same time. If you ask me, this bill needs a lot of brushing. We will probably, I don't know whether we will ask the mover to withdraw and reintroduce it again so that we take time to understand and be able to help this bill make a very important impact in the society. As much as I support, I would really ask my colleague, we sit back and probably brush it properly so that we can have a better bill going forward. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honourable Member for Suba North, Honourable Millie Odhiambo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I don't know if you are giving me the opportunity to speak or to inform the member because she has already sat down.
I just saw you on the intervention button.
Oh, I was
So
seeking
just
to inform
proceed.
the member, but she has already sat down.
But you can proceed to inform the House.
Well, I was just informing the honorable member because from the way she was talking, she seems to infer to persons below 18 years who have had children as though they are voluntary mothers. It's actually cases of sexual abuse. It is presumed anybody below 17 years who has a child is a victim of sexual abuse because they cannot consent legally to sex. So we are actually talking about an abused child in this bill.
Thank you very much. I know, Honorable Millie, we've been in the trenches together with Cradle, fighting for the girl child and abused children. So I understand where you're coming from. I will also allow the member, and I think the member for Baringo is properly informed. I will allow the member from Mombasa, Honorable Zamzam Chimba.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika, na mimi niweze kuunga mkono hii bill ambayo mwenzangu ameleta ya kupatia watoto wa kike nafasi ya pili kusoma. Mheshimiwa Spika, Mheshimiwa Spika, na nilitaka sana kuzungumza kuwa hawa watoto ambao wanapewa nafasi ya pili wengi wako ile underage, umri wa chini, walipata ujauzito, pengine walinajisiwa, ama pengine kuna wale ambao walikuwa na forced marriages, walikuwa hawana uwezo, kwa hiyo wanapewa nafasi ya pili kupata masomo. Mheshimiwa Spika, Mheshimiwa Spika, ndani ya Mombasa County kama mama county nimeregesha watoto wa kike 350 na walipia full scholarship na ngafu warudi darasani wasome, kwa sababu Mheshimiwa Spika, sisi tunataka uongozi wa mwanamke, lakini uongozi wa mwanamke una matatizo mengi sana. Mpaka afikie kiwango cha kuweza kuingia katika uongozi lazima awe amepata elimu ya kutosha. Mheshimiwa Spika, na utapata wakati mwingi Mheshimiwa Spika, mtoto wa kiume ambaye amempa mtoto wa kike ujauzito, yeye anaendelea na masomo yake, mtoto wa kike anabaki nyumbani. Mheshimiwa Spika, mimi nimewapa wale watoto nafasi. Mheshimiwa Spika, mpaka sasa mwaka huu watoto ambao wamemaliza kidato cha 4 na watoto 21. Niko na wengine ambao wako form 1, form 2, form 3 na wanaendelea vizuri, na wengine wameungama, wengine hata walikuwa wameingia kwenye madawa ya kulevya kwa sababu ya stress. Anashindwa, angalie mtoto anatamani apate elimu ili aweze kupata kazi, amekwama. Mheshimiwa Spika, kwa hiyo mimi kitu ambacho nataka kusema ni kweli hii bill inahitaji pesa. Ikiwa kama watataka watoto wapewe sehemu ya kulelewa shuleni, basi lazima kuwe na mpango ambao serikali